Come check out what you're about to learn on YouTube real quick. So you got this. Resolve in a D minor 7th, or is it F minor 7th? I'm gonna show you that now. What I'm about to show you is probably one of the most important chord progressions you're gonna learn in gospel music, right? And how to improvise in gospel music. Now I'm gonna show you a movement from the 1 chord to the 4 chord, or the 1 chord to a 2 chord. You're gonna use this all the time, and you're gonna thank me for it. All right. Now my name is Chris, and this is Gospel Progressions University, where I teach you how to play gospel music on the keys. Now what we're going to do is just simple. We're going to break this down into a couple steps. The first thing we're going to look at is the left hand, what the left hand's going to do. The left hand, we're going to take this in a couple keys. I may do up to maybe D or E flat. So it's going to do this. Okay, it's your left hand, very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we were to name each number, assign a number to each note. The 1 would be C, 2 would be D, E would be 3, and F would be 4, right? So we may do this or do this. Okay, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 2. Now that you have that in the left hand, our right hand, we're going to do a melody. And it's very important where you place this melody, right? So we have our root in the left hand. Now we're going to do our melody in our left and our right hand. So it's going to sound like this. Again, the melody is going to be E, F, G, F. That's it. It would sound like this played together with both hands. Very simple. Or if we went to D, it would sound like this. Okay, now we have another type of harmony here, right? So we have the first type where we have the 3. You played on top of the 1. So it's 3, 4, 5, back to 4. In both cases, it's 3, 4, 5, 4. 2, 3, 4. Your first case, your second case is going to be 1, 2, 3, 2. First case and second case. So we have that. We have our root, or the bass for our chords, and then we have a melody. Now let's look at something called inner voicing. So what we're looking for now is to give the root, the melody, some kind of inner harmony. Normally when I say inner voice, it's what's going on between your thumbs. Normally when you're playing the keys, it's going to be what's going on in between here. Or it could be your other fingers, but it's definitely won't go outside of the melody or outside of what you're playing in your left hand as far as your root or your bass notes, okay? It can, but for our purposes, that's why it's called an inner voicing and not an outer voicing. So now we're going to just play the chords that would harmonize, or the harmony that goes with that. And I'll just do it right now, just with my right hand. So the chord is going to be, remember our melody staying on top, the pinky. And we have our G diminished 7th, A flat diminished 7th, all right? And then our A sharp diminished 7th, or B flat diminished 7th, depending on which side of the aisle you're on. And then we're going to go down now. We can do 2 things. Remember what I showed you, right? We're just going to I'll back up here. What we'll do is this. Put it together with the root note, right? So we have our 1, then we have our 2, 3. I'll stop here now. We can go one of 2 places. Remember I said we can go to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay, now keep up with me here because we're going to change directions in a second. The first thing I'm going to do though, we're going to go look at the 2, and then we're going to go to the 4. So the first progression is going to be some type of 1 chord, right? Another type of 2 chord for what we're playing in the left hand. And then 3. And now we can resolve it. And the first resolution we're going to go to is the 2, a 2 chord. So we're going to resolve to the minor. Okay? So when we're moving up in this direction, what we're looking for is where we're going. That's what gospel music is all about. It's where you're going. You're trying to set something up, create some kind of tension to create a release. But this is all very intentional because your intention is to resolve it either to a 4 or 2. Okay, now, so we set the tension up, set the tension up, set the tension up, and now we release the tension. We go to our D minor 7th. See how that works? So we're essentially going from some type of 1 chord, and then we're going to walk up the scale. Remember, left hand is just going to do this, and then we resolve right back to, so here. Now, that's to go to I said the 2 because I'm relating it to the key of C major, because we're playing all these notes could, in theory, go with the key of C major. And I'm just saying C major or in the key of C because I want to give a reference point. But again, it doesn't matter where you are, because a D minor 7 could be in the key of F. It could be in the key of B flat, right? Or the key of C is a 2. So those 3 places we know we're going to have a minor chord. We know we have this, and you're going to hear this all the time. You pay attention to gospel music, this is going to come up a lot. It's just great for talk music. I use it probably 9 out of 10 Sundays if I'm going to play, you know, how many Sundays are in a month? Or 4, right? So most of those Sundays I'm going to be using this kind of progression. So we have this. Now, remember I said we can resolve up here. So now the first resolution is going to be your minor 7th chord. The second resolution is going to be 4 chord, but the 4 chord is not going to be a major chord. That's why I said we can, but in theory, you can do whatever you want. But for what we're trying to do here, don't pay attention so much to the key that I'm in. I'm trying to set up a tension. Here's your tension, and this is going to be the release. So it releases here, okay? So now here's a different type of release. You see what I can do there? I can change now what's happening. I can change it from a resolution from a dominant chord, right? That's where I'm coming from, but don't worry about the chord that I'm coming from so much. We resolve to a minor 7th chord. I do this, okay, and then now we resolve to another type of minor 7th chord. They're both going to be minor chord resolutions. There's a lot of things that you can do, a whole lot of stuff, but I don't want to lose you because this can get really deep. But just understand something. These 2, trust me, they're related, because they are what's called a minor 3rd apart. So when I do that chord progression, I can resolve either to a D minor 7th or an F minor 7th. Don't tell anybody, but you can also resolve to an A flat minor 7th or B minor 7th. Well, that's for another video. All right. So for now, we're just going to resolve from here, and then set the tension up here, and then we release the tension here. And the way you would remember that, simply, you can do that in any key. Let's take it up a half step. All right, and we're going to resolve to the 2 or resolve to the minor 4, the minor 2 or the minor 4. And in major scale harmony, our 2 chord is always going to be minor, right? So we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? 2 is going to be minor, 3 is minor, 6 is minor when we're looking at the major key. 4 is never minor, but that's the beauty about that inner harmony. It helps to set up the tension so you can resolve to where you want to go. So don't think so much of key. That's why I say that. You think of what you're trying to set up. This is where the tension is, and this is where the resolution is. If you get caught up too much in thinking key, it's going to lock you into, it's going to put a glass ceiling on what you're trying to do, and it's going to stop your creativity. Sometimes I play things that just sound really great. Sometimes I play things that don't sound that great. Ask my bandmates. I just try things sometimes and see what happens. All right. So now let's go through the key of C sharp, D flat. So what we can do is this, right? The same kind of chord progression. All right. We have the 1, right? D flat, right? 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 2. That's the left hand. The right hand, we're starting at the 3, so it can be, all right, all the time. The melody doesn't change, all right? And if we resolve to the 2 for D flat, it's going to be E flat, right? Okay, so the first chord is going to be, we can play this diminished chord, all right? A flat diminished. And then now we go from here to A diminished. A flat diminished over the D flat, which again, the combination of these two gives you another type of chord, a 7th chord with a flat at 9. So, and then we do climb up again, all right? Same thing we did before. Diminished 7th, and now we're gonna jump up to here. All right, F diminished 7th, and then we resolve to the E flat minor 7th, okay? That same thing will work with going up to 1, 2, 3, 4, making that this 4th here, instead of it being major, as if we're looking at the major scale, we're making it minor. So we can do that same thing here. We can do this. And now, see how that works? Now we add an F sharp, G flat, minor 7th chord. This works in all the keys. Now, again, we can take it up a half step. We're going to look at the key of D. When I say the key of D, we're theoretically we're breaking this up because the left hand is all major. It isn't leaving your major scale tonality. So if you know your major scale, you can play this no problem. Like, actually, both hands are playing what's major on your left hand and major in your right hand. All right. So for example, in the key of D again, all right, we have the or 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 2, and then we start on the third in the key of D major. So it's all right. So if you played it by itself, or yeah, same thing, right? Right. So right, that we can go to the second or the fourth. Now, that is major scale, harmony. I mean, anybody can play that if you're familiar with the major scale. It's the middle part, the inner voicing, that gives you that gospel magic, and that's what we have to pay attention to. So again, we're going to look at the chords now. We're going to play the diminished chords, right? And the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to start out on the 3. All right, so we look at the diminished, and we have the first chord is going to be a D7 with a flat 9, and we stick to the same kind of melody, right? And the harmony is what gives us that dissonance, because there are notes there like C that don't belong in the key of D major. So another way of looking at it is saying that I'm playing in the key of D major on the melody and on the root, but in the inside we're doing something different. We're creating a diminished harmony inside of with the inner voicing of our chord. All right, the same difference, the same thing we did before. You can do that as well. Just come right back down to the root that you're at. So, but just to make sure that you keep your melody on top, your consistent in every key, and your bass line or your root consistent on the left hand. Okay, and then we go right. We can resolve here to the minor chord here. All right, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 minor. Okay, or we resolve to this. Resolve to the 2 chord, or the E minor 7th being the 2 chord. And this works. You can continue the same exact thing. In the key of E flat, E, in all 12 keys. You practice it in all those keys, you'll be able to get this movement down. But this can be very useful for talk music, to get you, to progress you from a 2 chord. You can use it as a 6 chord. Or a 3, you can use it to progress to a 3 chord. Remember, they're all minor chords, right? So if you think of a major scale harmony, all right, the 3rd is going to be always minor. The 6th, the 2nd is always minor, and the 6th is always minor. So at least those 3 places you can use them to resolve. Anyway, I hope that has blessed you. I hope that's been helpful to you. And for another deep dive, and for a deeper dive in this, go check out my website, gospelprogressionsuniversity.com. You can download my free guide. It's called What Do Pro Musicians Know That You Don't. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like. God bless you. I'll see you in the next video.